All right, and we are recording. Okay. How was everyone's April? Can y'all believe it's over already?
No.
I know. Okay, gotcha, Christy. No problem. No problem. All right, so I'm going to be throwing out questions tonight. So feel free to unmute yourself as long as there's not too much noise in the background. But you can always mute, unmute, and answer questions for me. Or I could randomly pick on somebody. So just a fun warning. But how did everyone like the tester challenge this past week?
It was
Loved
fun.
it.
Cheryl, you liked it, Cheryl?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you learn anything new or get out of your comfort zone?
A little bit.
Yeah? Were you nervous at first?
Oh, always.
Always. Right? I know the feeling. That's that was part of the point, was learning how to be outside of our comfort zone and then seeing what happens when we step outside of it. And I did see a few people who did it, and then orders were coming in because of it.
Yes.
Which is what I loved seeing. I have been in those places too where I didn't want to get outside my comfort zone. I didn't want to pass out a sample. But because I did it, my business grew. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I've heard some good feedback, so that's good. So what is one way that you can use this challenge to grow your business short-term and long-term? Any ideas from anyone?
Well, short term with the orders that we got, short term, this is Lisa. You
Yep.
can't see my face. With the orders that I received from the one thing, it taught me a couple of things. Number one, we had been to that restaurant, good grief, since it opened. And like I said in the thing I posted on the Facebook page, is that especially with Carolyn, the hostess, she was relatively new. And actually, we knew her from another restaurant we used to go to, and she moved over there. And so I just kept giving her a little sample, said, oh, here, smell this. And like I said on the thing, she would just put it in her pocket. But this last time, when I took the testers, and I really had a self-fight, number one, to get them out of the house into the car, and then number two, out of the car with me in the restaurant. And I said, nope, just do it. You're not going to wuss out on this challenge. Number one, you have the accountability, which I love. And then number two is, who knows what can happen? Who knows how we could be blessed and they could be blessed. So then the fact that Carolyn, the hostess, who has a cajillion samples and loves them all, finally said, Judy, the manager, took that catalog in the back office so she could look at it, but I need one to look at it because I found one I went there I want to order. And then because I had the testers, she could also then smell and select her white tea cactus that she wanted because it's fresh and clean. So number one, if you don't have the testers, we know the saying, it's the smell that sells. Describe it all day long, but until they smell it, no good. So the fact that she had them and could smell them was wonderful. And so short term, the orders certainly added to my April. But long term, it's not like we're not going to go to that restaurant ever again. We're there all the time. So I can follow up with Carolyn. How do you like in the white tea cactus? How does your new warmer look? Shoot me a picture of it. With Judy, she ordered Kenzie the kangaroo for her grandson with jammy time. She ordered scents for her daughter and for herself. So, so long term, future orders. I also gave Carolyn an opportunity packet. And so, we'll see. She said she had been thinking about maybe starting her own business. She just didn't know where to start. So in that way, short-term orders, long-term future business with follow-up and potential new teammates.
Very good, Miss Lisa. That's exciting.
It
And all
is.
because you had to take your testers with you.
Oh, because I had to take those silly testers with me.
Dang
And that
it.
doesn't mean it's going to turn out that way every time because we went back to the same restaurant tonight and I took them again. They just laid on the table.
Yep.
So
But
it
you
doesn't mean
never
you have to.
know.
That's
Yeah,
right. You never know.
you never know. It reminds me a little bit of when you do follow-ups with people, like especially kind of a cold follow-up, or I guess it's a little bit warm. I still feel like they're cold. Like if they fill out like these forms at a show, and then you're gonna either call or text them, and the majority of the time that I follow up, I get nothing back. But every now and then, I'll get one or two, and it's totally worth it long term. So, good job. That's exciting. You'll have to keep us updated on if she joins.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so anyone else have an idea on long term? Check your chat. Let's see. Tracy Burr said, long term, always carrying testers or something Scentsy related to show off wherever we go. Yes, ma'am. And then Christy said, Starbucks is always a great place to take testers with you or meet hosts to close parties. Yes, that is very true. I've met many people at Starbucks and have gotten other people interested. Another way, maybe not carrying my testers with me all the time. I know some of you had all of your testers out. So you only had them maybe a day there or a couple hours here before you had to turn them over to the next hostess. But I have started, I don't think I've told y'all this. If y'all don't have Marco Polo yet, you should totally get it. I love it. You can Marco Polo me all day long. So I Marco Polo a lot with other leaders in Scentsy, and we share ideas back and forth. And I even said the other day that follow-up is the first thing, and then Marco Polo is the second best thing that I've done over the last year to grow my business. So if you don't use that to necessarily connect with other people or other leaders, it is a great way to just grow relationships with your downline or grow relationships with other leaders that you've been wanting to grow with. So, but aside from that, I've really been trying to get outside of my comfort zone. A long time ago, when I started networking, I used to carry this basket with me, and I always had a basket with samples attached to my business card. And over the years, I just stopped doing it. I stopped making samples, which I've told y'all about. My friend was just mortified that I didn't make samples anymore. So over the last few months, I've gotten back to making samples and to passing them out. And I didn't want to just hand out wax samples. That's what we're known for, is our warmers and wax. So I wanted to kind of get outside of the whole warmers and wax and get a lot of people know what it is, or they already order from me. What aren't they ordering? So I wanted to start handing out lotion samples. So I bought our lotion samples from the Scentsy Family Store, and I put them in. I ran out of them, and they're all in my purse, which is like in the other room. So I didn't take time to go get it. But I take this, and I take my business card, which I got on Vistaprint. If you've not seen their here, I'll get one out. Because I hadn't seen one either. And then I saw a friend of mine. We ended up having like a last minute sample making party, like over a weekend in March. And she brought her business cards. And I was like, where did you get those? I love them so much. And she said Vistaprint. And this part is embossed. So like it's shiny and you can feel it. And then on the back, aren't those just the snazziest?
Cute.
They're like on one of like the last pages. If you go look at business cards on Vistaprint for Scentsy, it's like the second to the last or the last page. And I know a lot of people weren't liking, because I used to have my picture on the old ones, but I had seen so many complaints that the picture was so small, and then I saw these and I'm like, oh, those look so professional and pretty. So,
And
and they're still the same price, and you can still use a coupon.
Cool.
So, so I just take this, and I take this, and I put them in because in networking, especially when you're like with business people, it's all about getting the business card. So I just pull out, it's like a bag. It's a little bit smaller just because I had them, but you can use bags like this that you get from the Dollar Tree, or you can even staple it together, or you can use these thingies. They're called glue dots. Those are amazing. And then stick it to it. So whichever one you want to do, and this is what I hand out. And I've had so many compliments, and I've even started seeing like orders from it where they're like, I had no idea you guys had lotion. I've been needing some lotion. Let me buy the lotion. And so I'm getting more and more orders. Same with the washer whiffs. I've made samples of those and put those in. I'll put like a wax sample and a washer whiff sample in my customers' orders. And I'm not trying to go off on a sample tangent, but I put that in there too. But the whole thing with this was it's getting me out of my comfort zone. So if I go to an event or I'm out and about, like if you guys aren't networking, then instead you can say, okay, I'm going to go to the store today. I'm going to be at Walmart or I'm going to be at Target. And let's face it, if you go to Target, you're probably going to be in there forever. So I know I can never get out of there in less than an hour. Of course, I don't go very often because I get myself in trouble. But so if you know you're going to be there for a while, or you're just going to go out and have fun and just be by yourself, then give yourself a goal to hand out so many samples or so many packets that you've made. So if you haven't done your 10 packets in the month, then give a goal of, okay, I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm just going to be walking around doing my grocery shopping, and maybe I've got some other things I want to buy. So every 3 aisles I walk down, I have to give one of these out. So you can give yourself goals to do that, and it helps get you out of your comfort zone. So the other night I went, it was the Fort Worth Chamber and the Arlington Chamber did an event together. And I didn't want to go. I wasn't feeling very well. I've had some really bad vertigo. Probably shouldn't be driving, but I still am. And I went anyway, and I made the goal of passing out all 10 of these things I had made up. And I hit my goal, and then I ran out, so I passed out some of these too. But it was hard. Like, I don't like doing it, but I'm doing it anyway. So that's part of your tester challenge, was to see that it's not so bad stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Shelley?
Yes.
Sometimes we don't know what to say, like when we pass out a hand cream sample or a lotion sample. Since Steve's been in the hospital and rehab, something that we found very easy to say that I just want to share is that let's say that you're the whatever, you're the server, you're the nurse, you're the whoever, you're the mom, you're the cashier, whoever you're passing it to. In some way, they probably use their hands to serve others. So something that Steve and I usually say to someone like that is, you know, you have your little name badge on wherever we are, whatever business we're in. Shelley, we know and appreciate how that you use your hands to serve and be kind to others. So here's something that you can use to be kind to those loving hands.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's kind, and it makes them feel special, and it gets your lotion out there with just being like, oh, hey, Shelley, you know, here's a lotion for you.
Yeah. That's so good.
Feel free to copy it. That's why I shared it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and I find it's so funny how I can volunteer all day long for free. But somehow, like, I always feel guilty sometimes asking for business from people. So if you ever feel that way, saying it like that, you know, makes it feel like you're giving them a gift instead of asking for their business.
Yep. And they feel special.
Yeah, and then they feel special. I love that. Thanks, Lisa, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so far, which challenge has been the biggest stretch?
10 packets to join. For me, the 10 join packets.
Yeah.
Cheryl's shaking her head,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I assume that would probably be for most of you. Because that's hard. Just like we talked about how it's hard stepping outside of our comfort zone. For sure.
I think that mindset chapter, in fact, I was reading more in that last night, and I starred some things that if in the part about if you don't feel that your business is a blessing, that's going to be your mindset. And Shelley, you've known me long enough to know that I never felt like it was a blessing. I always felt like it was, I didn't want to be the car salesman in the plaid jacket trying to kick the tires or talk to somebody in something that, not. But since Steve had his stroke, since he has been such a blessing, so if me looking at it that way, in fact, I even had this big golden, it was a lotion keeper from another company that somebody had gifted me, but my the join packet's still right in there. And so now when I carry that around, I say, and I tell Steve, I said, honey, he said, what you got in there? I said, I have a golden opportunity for someone. And it's in the little gold zipper bag, that it's a golden opportunity and it's a gift. And so that it made me just having that little bag. I mean, it's sparkly gold. I'll post a picture of it on the Facebook page, but just having that little bag reminds me, oh yeah, Cincy is indeed a blessing to our family. I was thinking about that today. Today, when we get out of our house to almost 3:00, and I said we were going to get out at 1, but we didn't make it. But we had things to deliver. And then an apartment complex had called us for a little celebration. And I said, well, we didn't make it by 1, but we made it by 3. And I thought, you know what other company could I ever work for that I can decide when we want to leave the house or not? And I can take my husband with me. So it is indeed a blessing. It is indeed a golden opportunity, but that's the biggest stretch for me, is passing those out.
Very good. Well, and I think that's part of our mindset.
Yes.
I think most people have a hard time, and not everyone, but I know even for myself, having a growth mindset can be really hard. And I'll write back at you, Lisa. You've known me long enough that I've kind of gotten in my way many a time. I've always, back in the day especially, I was really shy. I didn't like talking to anybody outside of my comfort zone. I didn't even like making phone calls, which technically I still don't. So, but realizing, just like you said, that Cincy is a blessing is huge. Or that not even just that it's a blessing, but that it's your business. Like this week, I had this sweet lady, known her for a long time. She is the librarian at my kiddo's school, and we love her so much. She's the best librarian that you've ever met. And she's a really good friend of mine. I've done a fundraiser for her daughter's cheer group, and they've already booked me for this fall. And we were talking about something, and I was like, oh, wow, like, that's really neat, blah, blah, blah. And she just commented, like, well, my brother had, it's an actual business. Because I was talking about, like, Cincy, and then she's like, well, it's because it's an actual business. And it kind of stung a little. I was like, wait, does she not think that I actually have a business? Like, what? And so I just kind of left, and I was like, oh, and it's not the first comment. A few weeks ago, I volunteered as the lunch monitor, and the other lady who actually works there was like, would you want this as a full-time position? She's like, I know you have that side business, Cincy or whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it's such a side business. I was like, if only you knew. It's totally not. But so every now and then that kind of thought will creep into my mind, and it doesn't really bother me anymore. But back in the day, it used to, where my best friend didn't even realize, how much like Cincy is actually a business. It's what I do. And, or like as an SSD, you can potentially make a lot of money. I'm not necessarily in that category, but it's just funny listening to people think that, I'm probably just doing Cincy, to pay, you know, for the electric bill, and that it's not necessarily a business. And so don't do that to yourself. You know, even if that's the only thing it pays for is the electric bill, how flippin' awesome is that? And if it pays for more than that, that's even better. And if it allows you to be able to work from home and have that flexibility to leave at 1 or leave at 3 or to stay home sick, like that is such an amazing blessing, and it is a business. My husband works from home. He's a salary employee, but still has the flexibility to work on our house in the middle of the day. And he, you know, looks at himself as a working businessman. So don't sell yourself short. And even if it's, since he is kind of your side gig because you're working towards being able to do Scentsy full time, it's still a business and it's still awesome. So we'll keep going. All right, so this probably is the same answer, but which challenge scared you the most? Is it still passing out the 10 packets?
Yeah.
Or is it something different? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I think with the packets, for me, it's like, how do you decide who to give them to? I mean, how do you decide? You see a lot of people.
I'm sorry, what was that, Lisa?
I said, I think for me with the packets, number one, it's having them ready. Number two, it's how do you decide who to give them to? I mean, I know in the past we said you offer it to everyone like chocolate, but you still have to have kind of a rapport with people. You just don't go up to a stranger and say, oh, here's a packet about my business. You know, you still have to kind of develop somewhat of a simple, quick type rapport with people. Now, I know some people use the 3-foot rule. You give it to anybody in 3 feet. And maybe that's the question. If I had an opportunity to offer you, would you be interested in? I know you're serving here at Norma's, but have you ever thought about owning your own business? Maybe that's a question. I don't know. What do other people use? What kind of questions do you use when you decide who to hand it to?
That's a good question. I tend, for me personally, I do like this thing.
Yes.
To everybody. Well, I say everybody.
Yeah, that's easy to do to everybody.
Yeah, that's easy to do. The packets I tend to do for like more of a not like a cold, cold call, like a cold handout.
Yeah.
But I do the packets more for people that I'm like, they've ordered from me before, but I've never really talked to them about the joint opportunity. Or maybe there's a mom at school that I've talked to a few times, and, you know, she says that she's looking for something different, or she hasn't said anything at all, but she's popped into my mind. Those are the people I tend to hand out my packets to. Just like, you know, when you make your list of 100, or we'll do like a booking blitz, and it's like, who's popping in your mind when you're doing that booking blitz? So I think of it the same way as if I sit down at the end of the day and I'm like laying in bed and Jody pops into my mind and I immediately go, Jody's not going to want to join Scentsy. That's when I need to hand out a packet to him. Because I don't know why Jody popped into my mind, but instead of dismissing it, that's, I guess I do it more intentionally instead of just random. But I know Tracy said something, but I couldn't talk and read at the same time. Question for you. Uh-oh. Okay. That is a great question because, Tracy, I'm actually a superstar director, which is even funnier.
What's your question?
Tracy asked, if you have such a hard time getting out of your comfort zone, how did you make it to star or superstar director? And then real quick, I'll answer that. Hold on. But Christy said, a great way is not to ask. If you see someone that you think is providing great customer service or love Scentsy, tell them that you'd think they would do a great because of, and ask them to look over the packet and ask if you can follow up in a couple of days. That's a great way to do it, Christy.
That is
Yeah.
a good one. Thank you.
You don't even, instead of putting them on the spot, you just tell them that they're great. I love that. This is going to sound really weird. In the beginning of Scentsy, I never asked anyone to join. And you're like, what? But I never really did. I probably took more of Christy's approach, where I would kind of talk about joining, and I'd be like, but you don't, but then I would add, well, you don't have to if you don't want to. And then I always focus more on the sales. And then at parties, people would go, oh, you know what? That was really fun, or all of my people really like it, so I think I'm going to join. I was always afraid of being like what Lisa said, like that pushy car salesman, except I was always afraid to be that pushy Mary Kay lady. Like I asked all the time. I had a job where I worked before I quit and became Scentsy full-time, and then a mom shortly thereafter. But I was always asking, am I being too pushy? Am I being too pushy? And they're like, Shelly, you're not even pushing it enough. Like, you should tell more people about it. So I kind of became more comfortable with, that this is a business. It took me a while. Instead of saying, and I even started teaching my downline this after I realized it myself, instead of saying, oh, what, someone goes, well, where do you work? Instead of going, well, I'm what was I? An accounts receivable for a pharmaceutical company. I go, well, I'm a Scentsy consultant. So even just filling out like the paperwork, when you go to the doctor and they're like, where are you employed at? I write self and then Scentsy because it's what I do, and then people ask about it. Nowadays, I'm more focused on talking about it and going, hey, kind of like what Christy has done, or if someone walks into my Scentsy booth, or I have a customer that comes over a lot, or she's getting orders for her friends as well. I'm like, why don't you join Scentsy? You'd be really great at it. But a lot of it is also, I think, training and being there for your team, because you can't reach any leadership level alone. So recruiting obviously is a huge part of it, but I think being there for your team and just a supportive role. Like, that's how I've always looked at leadership, is I'm your support system. So if you came to your boss at work, your boss is there to support you and help you. Sometimes guide you. A good boss guides you and doesn't just scream and yell at you. I know some people are like, that's not what my boss does. But a good boss, because my husband has had a number of good and horrible bosses, and the good ones who had great teams were the ones that guided and helped instead of screamed and cursed and just kicked you in the teeth, basically. So that's how I've always taken a leadership position, is I'm here to support you. And whether that be by training or listening, or, sometimes you have to break up a fight and you can't take sides. So that's still showing support, or if it's sending a text or cheering you on, or whatever it is. And as a leader, it will evolve. But I guess that would be how I did it. I mean, you can ask Lisa too. She's been around. I don't know.
No, I'm not. That's part of the reason that I'm that's part of the reason I have reached and maintained Star Director for 7 years, is because not passing out the packets, that's why I love this challenge, not sponsoring like Shelly. It just kind of happened. People say, oh, want to join? I'm like, oh, you do? Oh, okay. Okay. And then the last 4 years since Steve had his stroke, we've been in stroke recovery, and so not really focused on it. And it shows in the business that I have not been. Dwindling team, working on communication with the team, just to be totally honest. And so now it's like, nope, and this is what I should have been doing all along. But again, part of that is that growth mindset. Part of that is not viewing it as a positive in a positive light myself. So I haven't been as positive in sharing it. But that, it just kind of happened. But now it's like, nope, we have a new goal. Our goal is to share our business with others, as many as possible. That's why the 10 packets a month is a challenge, to go to from 0 to 10. But it is a challenge that can be met, and already seeing some possible results from it. And so it's given me a new focus with this leadership program, has given me a new focus and a new reason to focus, accountability in the focus. So sponsoring is not my strong suit yet.
Yet. I like it. Yet. And it's true. And to add to what Lisa said, and then I guess I've always tried to be really transparent in what I do. I don't, I could just say, well, I'm just super great at talking to people and recruiting, and this is what you should do. I can tell you what to do all day long if you ever need ideas. But I also tell you, look, I know it's really hard to do it because I don't like doing it either. When I first joined, I've told some people this, but when I first joined, we had a great upline. She had been in direct sales previously. But I remember being at her house early on. We were still trying to figure out what the comp plan meant. Like, we spent so many hours trying to figure out the compensation plan and what it all meant and how it worked. And I remember being at her house, and I was like, I was young. She's quite a bit older than me. And in my 20s, didn't have kids yet, had no clue who I was or who I wanted to be. But I remember being at her house, and I was like, I'll never be as good as you. Like, you do all these things. Because on weekly calls, she would tell us, oh, this is what I do. I do this, 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 and this. And in my mind, I can't believe how much time I wasted back then. Now I have 4 kids, and I do way more now than I did then. And here I thought, like, I could never have done that. But anyway, so I remember talking to her, and she's like, I don't do all that. I was like, what do you mean you don't do all that? You just taught us, like, how to do all this stuff. And she's like, oh, no, that's what you should do. But I remember feeling kind of gypped a little, because I felt like I would never measure up, because I felt she was like way up here in all the things that she accomplished, and I was way down here, and there's no way to get in the middle. And so after that, I tried to be really transparent. Like, I can give you 20 ideas on how to grow your business. I can give you a training every single week for, probably 5 years. But the main thing I want you to take out of all of this LDU is at least take one thing and run with it. Like, Lisa is like, you know what? I can do this recruiting thing, and this is what I'm going to focus on. If you're like, you know what, I'm kind of doing okay with recruiting, or I'm not quite there yet, then just start working on follow-up, or just start working on handing out just 5 of these a month. If 10 is overwhelming to you, then just start working on 5, meeting 5 new people. Or if that's even hard, start with 2, and then the next month do 3. But I can give you, like I said, I can give you all these ideas, but what I love the most is seeing that, like, you could be Superwoman and do all the things, but it's okay if you're not. And it's okay if you grow slower than others, and it's okay if life happens. I did hit SSD, but if we're being honest, I've never gotten paid at title year-round. So usually in the fall, at least between 3 to 6 months, during the fall, I will get paid at SSD. And then I'll always have somebody go back into the queue, and then I don't get that pay anymore. And it hurts. And even though, like I have the title, it's still sad when you're like, oh, I'm not hitting the potential that I could, because I held myself back. But then if you look back, you can't be upset with yourself that life got in the way. I had, like, you know, Lisa, you and your husband went through, you know, his health problems over the last 4 years. I got to experience my own. I had 4 babies in 6 years, and I got the lucky blessing of having postpartum depression with all of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking the baby blues, like the full on, should have been probably committed, but I didn't. Really bad postpartum. And my youngest is now 4. And I think just in the last 6 months, I'm starting to not feel that depression anymore. So if I look back, I'm like, you know what? It's okay that I wasn't at like my peak business, that I wasn't the most awesome person I could have been, because I was just trying to survive and like sleep. That's pretty much what my goals were, was put my 500 in, sleep, and get through the day. So if that was you for a while, and that's okay. If that happens in the future, just give yourself a break and go, that's okay. I'm still working my business, but it's okay. So now in the last, let's see, in, what year was that? 2016 was the first time I hit annual sales. And I was like, holy wow, I've been with this company like 10 years and I'm just now hitting this. Like, maybe I can be good at this. And in the beginning, I did it. Let's see, I hit SSD right after I had my first baby. So it was kind of thereafter where things kind of fell apart for a little bit, but now they've kind of come back together. So I always look at that as it's never too late to start growing or to keep growing and to continue growing. A lot of people will feel that way, like, oh, well, I didn't get in on the ground floor of a business. It does not matter. I have had the best, like the best years in Scentsy over the last 3 years. I didn't hit annual sales last year because I procrastinated a little bit, but I learned from it and I hit it this year. And I've earned another trip for 2. Let's see, it'll be 12 years in August. I've only ever earned 4 trips. So I'm not one of those really awesome people who you'll kind of see on Facebook where they're like, I've hit every trip that since I joined. And that wasn't me, because it just wasn't. And that's totally fine. I can't go back and go, oh, I wish. Because 1, there's no use for that. And 2, it just doesn't work that way. So don't ever feel like you're a loser or it's too late, because it seriously isn't. And I tell you what, I have more and more customers daily, sometimes daily, if not a couple of times a week, going, hey, I met you this place. I was just kind of cheating on you for my other consultant, and my other consultant's not returning my messages, moved or quit. Yep. I get so many of those all the time that moved or quit. So we have customers out there that want to order. They totally do. Yes. So Tracy Burra said, thanks for your honesty. You're very welcome. We sometimes think that everyone above us are super people and better than the rest of us when we are all capable at different times. And it's so true. I don't think anyone is better than me. I think probably the opposite. That's where I really, like I said, using Marco Polo, I thought I was doing a really great job. And then I start marcoing with some of my like other SSD friends. And I'm like, wait, what are you doing? I need to write this down. Oh, can you send me that file? Oh, wow. I like really stink. Like I could really up my game. So, I don't think anyone is better than me. And I love just helping people out, and that's part of the reason why I like being transparent, because I want to help give hope to people who feel like why should I keep doing my business? Because you can, because it's awesome, because we live in an amazing day and age, like social media and like web texting. Oh my gosh, I don't think I could have grown my business as well as I could if I still had to call people on the phone. Like, it just wouldn't happen. But it really is. Anyone can do this. I promise. Okay, enough about me. Which challenge do you think you'll incorporate into your weekly or monthly plan? And I have a reminder of the challenges written right here. So obviously the testers we just did. Let's see. I'll go over them. Customer mail out and creating your follow-up book, your list of 100, creating your marketing plan, your marketing budget, and then make a list of your business activities. So which one do you think is the best one? Oh, Krista, do you have a question?
No, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. No, I was just gonna say like what I'll incorporate because I was really excited to because I was like starting my marketing plan, and let me turn my video on, sorry. Okay. So I had my postcards made. I think I showed you them too, Shelly.
Yeah, I think you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of my team has seen them too. But I had these little postcards made. They say, thank you for your Scentsy order. Of course, they're going to be mailed and sent. They're not going to be posted on social media. They'll be emailed, not emailed, but they're going to be mailed to them or in their bags. And there's the $5 coupon. And then those ones actually are just like if I give them at a show or my customers who come to my house. And then these ones, I have a blank spot. And then it has my address here. And then this little corner. And then on the back side, it just kind of has like the $5 off, and like it says ask me how to save on shipping, so I can help them enter on the back end. And if they're local, they find me on like my website from around my area. So I've incorporated that into my business, is following up and then making the samples with the foil packets. So a lot of my team members have been making them too. So it's with the heat foil packets. I've been making tons of these, and I'm actually gonna do a sample making party too. So.
What do you put in the foil packets?
In the foil packets, I've been doing everything from washer whiffs to laundry liquid, hand soap, hand lotion. I'm also doing counter cleaner and Scentsy Fresh in I have little spray bottles. They're at my house. I'm actually at my neighbor's house right now. But I'm doing that as well. And I could do a video. I don't mind doing like a training video on them. But I actually did the washer with the counter cleaner little spray bottles before actually like 2 years ago or last year. But this has been fun, the foil packets. I really like these. And I actually got it from one of the Facebook groups. So I didn't invent this myself, so I can't. But I made, a friend of mine owns a printing company. And so the labels, she signed the third-party contract. And she actually created my postcards too. So she's actually helping me put my information on my labels as well. So I don't mind doing a training or posting a how-to.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that, because I've been wanting to do the foil packets, but I feel intimidated by them.
Yeah, they're easy. It's fun.
Yeah, I would love that.
I've never seen them before.
Really?
I've never seen them.
Mm-mm.
Sweet.
They're on. Yeah, maybe
The good news is that you don't need the heat sealer to do it. I use my what is it? What is it called? The flat iron that I do my hair with.
The heat sealer was only like $20 on eBay or $18 on Amazon or something. So it was actually pretty reasonable.
Oh, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was just we had to ban ourselves from Amazon for the next couple weeks because we love Amazon too much.
While I'm on, I have to give a big shout out to Christy.
Yes.
Because she's going to hit annual sales as well. And this is huge for her. Sorry, Christy, I got to embarrass you. So we got to put your order in, Christy. I know you want to get off this video, so you can go put that order in.
I know. She's like, if I get off, it's because the hostess sent me all her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's so exciting.
Nice.
I'm so excited. Okay. Yeah, we have 10 minutes until the end of the hour. Not at all. I'm excited. Yay. Oh, oh dang. What button did I just press? Back to meeting. Dang it. I think Tracy said something too. Tracy said, I hope to use all of it at times, but working most now on follow-up, customer mailouts, and sample packets. Yes, totally agree. And it's funny because customer mailouts and even sample packets go along with follow-up. It's just one more added thing of follow-up. And my business, I know I keep saying it, but I think my business has doubled since I started following up. It's just, I've heard it for years, just years. You should follow up. You should follow up. I'm like, yeah. Only losers follow up. Well, it's really true. Like, follow up is so great. So if you're not doing it, start implementing some way of following up. If the thought of texting all your customers all the time overwhelms you, then just work with the customer mail out. Or there's so many different things, and someday soon, since you will have a really awesome customer follow-up system for everyone to be able to use, and it will be great, I promise. So with that, I'm going to wrap up unless anyone has any more questions or thoughts with your challenge for the week. Aren't we so excited? It's really simple and really easy. Well, you can make it as simple or as easy as you want, or you can make it as, like, you know, crafty as you want. You get to kind of be crafty if you want to. So with growing your business, it's important to have goals. We talk about this a lot. Sensi talks about this a lot as knowing what your why is. Sometimes we're probably like, I'm sick and tired of knowing what my why is. But if your why isn't something that gets you out of bed in the morning, then it's not good enough. So my why is to get us out of debt. And this is another honesty thing. I always joke, Sensi got us into debt, and Sensi's going to get us out of debt. Because I've been with him for so long. We were really stupid in our 20s. And not that wasn't that long ago, but we were dumb. So we're trying to not be stupid anymore. We've grounded ourselves here and there from things like Amazon or Target. And our goal is to fully get out of debt, pay off all the things, including house and stuff, and then have an awesome future. For a while, I didn't have a why, and I felt like I just kind of floated. You know, I just kind of did my business until I was like, this is my why. This is what I want to do. I can see it. I can envision it. And this is what I want. So you need a goal board, something where you see it every day. I have mine in my office, but I really need to move it to my bathroom where I spend a lot of time getting ready. And for a while, I was like, oh, I need to go buy poster board.
Yeah.
This. And then finally one day, I just took a piece of cardstock. And I took a few Sharpies, and I spent 10 minutes writing down all the things. These are all my goals. Obviously, debt is one of them. I think it's always people's goals to be more organized. I want to be paid at title, and I want to cultivate relationships. I'd love to someday remodel my kitchen, even though we just we're still working on the house. I'd love to write a book. I had a goal once to write a book by the time I was 30. I've far past that. So maybe by the time I'm 40, but probably not. I'd love to be able to buy a truck for my husband, but first we have to get out of debt so we can afford the truck payment and then the gas in it. I'd love to be able to randomly take my family on a vacation without having to worry about money. Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be so fun. And then how much I want in savings, or even just being able to give more, or just having a website, like an actual Scentsy like website that's, more than the PWS. So it can be anything simple. It can be really in depth, but I want you to create a goal board. So if you want to go all out, if you want to go to Michael's and you want to cut vinyl and you want to do all the things, or if you want to go old school and use magazine clippings and like find the different words, you can do that. But I want you to make a goal board, and then I'd love it if you would take a picture and post it in our group page. If there are some things that are a little too personal, you can cover those up. But I want you to take a picture and post it, so that way we can cheer you on and be excited for you. So unless there's any more questions, then I'm going to let y'all go. Anybody?
None here.
No question, but thank you so much, Shelley. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. And
On.
Yeah, Lisa.
Thank you.
all right. Well, I'm proud of you guys, and thank you for taking the time and for all the participation. I loved it. So y'all have a fantastic Monday night, and I'll see you on Facebook. Bye.
Thanks, Shelley.
Bye. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye, Shelley.
Bye, everybody.